Okay.
Show number 10.
Okay. Yeah, number 10, the Aluminum Show. We wear tinfoil hats. Well, one of us does, and I only do it when I'm on Chatterbait. The girls love it. They always ask me, what is that hat you have on your head? And I let them know that it makes the climax all the better. We have about 10 minutes left. Yeah, right.
All right. Well, I want to cover the story that's kind of grinding my gear right now, or whatever. Okay.
By the way, I'm looking at this. This happened in 2017. This happened a couple years ago.
No, it just happened.
All right, go ahead.
Well, it happened a couple years ago, but the story just came out now. So that's the story's breaking now.
Yes.
So basically, what happened is this: the CIA had a guy that was in Russian government, and they turned him. They flipped him. Well, guess what happened? This guy becomes a fast riser in Russian government. Boom, boom, boom. He's going up the ranks. Soon, he has access to Putin and sees Putin on a regular basis. This guy was listed as the top CIA asset. He was literally their most valuable asset in Russia. And what happened is when Trump came in office, they felt the CIA did not trust Trump at all. They thought Trump would out the spy or get him killed. So what they basically did is they pulled the spy home and they brought him to this place, which exists, the Defector Resettlement Center. Our government has a Defector Resettlement Center, and it took this defector, and he's in hiding now, and nobody knows where he is. Now, this defector was so goddamn secret, they didn't even put the information about him in Obama's daily briefings because they didn't want anybody who reads the briefings to get it. Obama would get sealed letters with information that this particular guy would turn over. And so that's how serious this is. So listen, you may say that Trump's not a traitor, but if you don't think that Putin has leverage over him, then you're crazy.
Yeah. You hear that? Yeah. Oh, it's my thing here. That's again.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it, dude. Putin has leverage over Trump. I think that he got loans from Deutsche Bank, the oligarchs co-signed, something like that. There's something like that out there. There's leverage. Because if the CIA felt that they had to pull their top spy from Russia because Trump would out him, then that speaks fucking volumes, people. And then you have to ask yourself, what is the CIA and the FBI going to do with this president when he gets out of office? So I hate to tell all you Trump supporters, but listen, you're in for a rude awakening, my friends.
You think that all this, listen, if it's going to happen after his presidency, if it's going to happen at all, with any Russian.
I mean, if he cheats his presidency, he stays in longer. If a Republican gets elected after him and pardons him, maybe, but he has state charges in SDNY where Weisselberg is snitching right now. You hear stories like this about him being a traitor. I mean, there is no way that there's not a culmination at the end of this story.
Well, you say, though, that it kind of looks negative toward Russia, that this guy is admitting, like, yeah, we had a fucking spy in here and we got him out right under your nose.
Well, you have to wonder, too, if maybe there's another spy in there and that's why they're trying to pretend like he's gone, or what games the CIA is playing, you know? So there's that. You know, there's that espionage aspect to it always.
You know what there also is maybe he wasn't a spy at all, but you plant the seed that he was. You tell them that he was. You say something like that, so you make them think that. You make them question themselves. You know, a lot of people do that. They plant lies or stories into people's heads.
There was questions originally if whether or not he was a double agent when he first came on.
I think a lot of them are.
They were worried that he was feeding U.S. information, but they were able to somehow vet that he was the real deal.
I think that's very common. I think the United States alone plays the double
agent
agent card.
I also think that Russia is not that rich and not that great of a place to live. So I think that, like, honestly, 75% of Russian officials spill to the U.S. because we give them cash.
This is unfortunate. Money talks, and yes, when you have in a culture that has a lot of people that don't have money, that's why they call it like kind of a mob-run situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really run amok. It's not a narco state, but it almost is like a mafia state with how
it's like we're going to give
shit.
you a lot of freedom, so you have escorts. You can pretty much do whatever you want. You can hack whatever you want if you cut the government in on whatever you steal. The whole thing in Russia is really bizarre, but the people there seem to be cool with it. I mean, they're like, yeah, we don't have a lot, but we got a lot of freedom, and we don't really have to vote because the election doesn't matter. So it's just bizarre.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to bother the Russian people that much. There is a big...
Do you think Americans could live under one president their whole life without freaking flipping out?
No, only because we're so used to being able to, quote unquote, vote and place the person in. We really don't place the person in. That's decided for us, but it gives us kind of an illusion of it. No, we could never do that. That's what makes America so great. That is supposed to be the difference maker here, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference maker, that we're supposedly really
the peaceful exchange of powers.
What we're not understanding is that once you elect democratically these people in that you think are doing for you, you then realize they're not. And that's when you realize
and they
that
get
you're
easily
not
corrupted by big corporations with large amounts of money.
And here lies the problem. And jobs after, where you get into the public sector after, and this and that. So that's that, to rush that up. We're going to wrap up the show right here. It's I call it the little Me Too corner. This is the Me Too movement
Me Too corner. You're running the Me Too corner?
I'm going to run the Me Too corner.
Rich.
This is, isn't it? Well, this is all about the ladies. You know, this is the ladies' man. And I got my Cavassier. Let's talk about it, ladies. Ladies in the news. So we've got I have 4 little tidbits I want you to comment on. Number 1, Rosario Dawson. She is
Fake
dating,
relationship.
Yeah.
Was that too soon?
Yeah. Rosario, right? Rosario Dawson is dating Cory Booker. And apparently she was asked very recently, are you going to endorse Cory for his presidency? And not only did Rosario Dawson not do that, her exact quote was, and I find this kind of interesting, was, regardless of Cory, I wasn't going to be behind any particular candidate this election. This was at Variety's Toronto Film Festival. I just want to be behind the electorate.
I don't even know what the fuck that means, behind the electorate. What, are you going to fuck the public?
Yeah,
what does that even
I'm not
mean?
sure what that means either.
Here's the thing about that, okay? Cory Booker's always been suspected of being LGBTQ. He's never really had a wife or a girlfriend, and he's a very famous, handsome man. You would assume that somebody would want to be with this guy.
He has a lot of gay
And then all of
rumors.
a sudden he's running for president, and boom, pops this like celebrity crush thing. But I encourage anyone to go on Google and search Cory Booker and Rosario, and you won't find any pictures. There's one like picture where they look like awkward together. So
sham.
I just wonder if the whole thing is put together for politics, and then that would explain her answer to this question.
Yeah, she went on to say this election is very critical. A lot of the themes that are touched on are really narratively critical for us to talking about in a wider space so that people can come to the table and see where their position is and see where they can be active. We need all hands on deck.
Okay, she makes no sense.
So,
She must be
that
going to
was
vote for
psychobabble.
Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, that was psycho.
Marianne Williamson, we found your supporter.
Okay, so that takes care of the Rosario Dawson. Check that off for the Me Too movement there.
Peace out.
Here's
Dawson.
another one. Here is Todd and Sarah Palin calling it quits.
Oh, no one dumps my Palin.
Nobody dumps my Palin. Well, guess what?
She was like our first hot lady politician.
They actually made a porno themed around her called Nailin' Palin. I don't know if you know that.
Do you think she got a cut of that?
Well,
Because she's the kind of lady
no,
that would
she
sign
should have
off on
sued
that.
over it. Well, the porn industry is very smart at what they call porn parodies, and
Yeah.
they're allowed to get away with this stuff. So it was a parody, just like anybody can dress up like her. And I guess she wasn't Sarah Palin in the video. She was, Sarah Palin. And
That's
so
how they get into search results.
They get around it somehow. I think it was Lisa Ann played her, one of the more famous ones, whatever. And people went and saw it because you're right. Sarah Palin was one of the more attractive women that's really ever been in politics. I mean, Elizabeth Warren isn't exactly
Todd
winning that.
Palin divorced Sarah. So the guy filed for divorce. They put their initials on the divorce, so nobody knew, but some like just clever journalists were able to like put it all together with like their kids' ages and shit and figured out it was them. And in the divorce, it cites incompatibility of temperament, and that he finds it impossible to live as husband and wife.
Can you help me out? What is incompatibility of temperament?
I think it means that like they're a mean
fight
asshole.
a lot. Yeah. Someone's
like if I ever get divorced, it'll definitely say that on there.
yeah,
Right.
Todd. Yeah, Todd.
This motherfucker's incompatibility of temperament is through the roof, Your Honor.
Where's my fucking Labatt's,
Yeah.
Tad?
Yeah.
Crack my Labatt's. So that's the other one.
But they were also married, bro. I think it was like 31 years.
They were for a long time.
That's a long time.
They seemed like they were pretty happy.
Give it up to him. Todd, man, Todd's a handsome man, too.
Todd
Get out
is
there,
going to do
Todd.
fine. Yeah, if that
Get
asshole,
out there, Todd.
if that Todd Gosselin or the Kate Gosselin's husband went off, this guy's going to do just fine.
Oh, yeah. I hope Todd gets like a model soon.
Now, the third one is my favorite and your favorite. The lady with the tough turban, Ilhan Omar, she just takes it from every angle, and nothing happens to this woman. She never gets in trouble. There's campaign finance stuff. There's questions about the legitimacy of her husband and who she has 2 husbands and kids and this and that. So the new thing is that she has a gentleman by the name of Tim Mynett. Tim Mynett is a white fella, and he looks like the typical guy that we would see at Starbucks all the time using the free Wi-Fi. And Tim Mynett is also part of her cabinet. I think she pays him $350,000. There he is there. He kind of, not a very attractive guy. He looks like he could be in like
Well, he's got like the
80s
smart guy
synth band.
glasses.
Yes, he's definitely smart. And they work together, but Tim Mynett's wife decided, I am going to file for divorce. And that is what she's done. Her name is Beth Jordan Mynett, and she specifically used Ilhan Omar's name under the reason for why, the adultery, for why she is filing for divorce. Is Ilhan Omar just maybe not a good person, Muslim shit aside and politics aside?
Oh,
maybe
man,
she's
this
just
is a tough
bitch.
question. So when she first came on, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. More diversity. But she has a lot of problems. She says a lot of really dumb shit. She embarrasses Democrats all the time. She has stupid opinions. She's not professional. She's not prepared all the time. So it's kind of rough, and then you see this stuff, and there has been a lot of swirling stories about her past and finances and how she got over to the country and all sorts of stuff. So it's hard to know what is bullshit political propaganda.
Just too much smoke,
and
right?
what's real. But there seems to be way too much smoke for there nothing to stick. So I fully assume that she will be in some sort of trouble eventually. I just don't know exactly what part of all this stuff that they're throwing at her is real or isn't, but I think she definitely obviously ruined this poor lady's marriage. And you have to just wonder, if you're already under the gun, as she is, and you already have so many eyes looking at you, as she does, why on earth would you have an affair with, someone that literally works for you? I mean, that is insane at her level.
Yeah, she may be doing herself in slowly. It's hard to say.
And there's nothing like a woman scorned. So this other lady, she's obviously put her name out there. Oh, she's not going to shut up. She's going to do interviews and all sorts of shit. She'd probably be on Fox next week.
I hope so. I'd like to see her. She's a redhead.
Sean Hannity, next on Hannity.
I can tell you
the woman whose life was ruined by Ilhan Omar.
Yes, Ilhan, what's under that turban? The lady actually is a redhead.
Tucker's like, this would never happen in my gated community. Fix his bow tie.
It's very, very interesting that he went from redhead to turban head. He does not have a type. That's it, folks. We are going to wrap up episode number 10.
Ruthless Politics.
Ruthless Politics. It's always ruthless here. We knock out the competition with the most ruthless.
Follow us on Facebook, you fuckers.
Yeah, do all that. We're out of here. Space Coast Podcast Studios.